Welcome to the Great British Pinball Podcast, and here are your hosts Scott Rundell and Neil McRae.
Ladies and gentlemen, the time has come. It is, as always, the Great British Pinball Podcast. We know you've been missing us because you've written to us. We know that you've been desperately gasping for a new 9-hour episode. And here we go. I am Neil McRae. I'm joined, as always,
by Scott Rundle.
Welcome, Scott. How's the arm?
Yes, all good. Basically, it's had my last bit of physio, at least for 5 weeks. They've said that all I've got to do now is just rebuild muscle. So, yeah,
Okay.
looking good.
So just...
Yeah, I got to do like Arnold Schwarzenegger muscle training for a week. But no, it's really boring stuff. It's all resistance training. So it's all to do with like basically pulling elastic bands is the equivalent of.
Actually, I managed to fall off a ladder.
Oh, really?
At the new Pinball Republic, yeah.
Nice one, Neil.
I was measuring something. I thought I was 4 steps up. Turns out I was 5 steps up.
Oh, dear.
And I kind of landed on my ass. I actually pulled a muscle in my leg, which was quite painful.
You're lucky you didn't damage your coccyx, because then that would have really
didn't kill myself, frankly.
True.
It was Matt,
especially with all that broken glass on the floor.
Yeah, I mean, actually, Matt, fair play to him. He was laughing, but trying hard not to laugh. It was kind of funny, but I pulled when my foot went down, I kind of pulled the muscle in the back of my calf. Oh. It's all back and ready, but it's just you strained it a little bit. So I'm hobbling around like Charlie Chaplin right now, but not a pinjury. Well, kind of a pinjury.
Well, it is. Yeah, it's a pinjury, I think,
because it happened in the new Pinball Republic. And actually, whilst we're talking about, why don't we start there?
Sure.
So if you're on our Facebook group, Pinball Republic Facebook group, you'll have seen I posted a video of I'll upload it to our group as well. I posted a video of the new Pinball Republic location. On the last show, we signed the lease, and then there was a whole bunch of pain in the ass shit that we had to deal with. But anyway, it's done. The lease is signed. We actually paid the rent. And we have to pay the rent in advance, quarterly in advance, which is painful from a cash flow.
I bet you were hoping it was in arrears, but yeah, evidently not.
Look, these guys, I mean, I have to say that my hat's off to RUW, which is the Westfield's company.
Right.
They've given us a great deal. They've been really helpful as much as they can be. Like they're a business, they're here to make money, right? And you know, we're taking quite a good position in their mall, and they've been really helpful. It is a bit different because you're in a shopping mall, so you got to follow the rules of the mall and opening times and stuff like that. But they've been very helpful. We got the shop fitters in, as you would have seen in the video. They're ripping. So the shop was a clothes shop before. A company called Joy, who I think went bankrupt actually during COVID, I think. And so
it's been vacant ever since.
Yeah, it's been empty at least 6 months, because that's when we started. That's when we kind of found out about the place. I mean, it's taken an insane amount of time to get to this position, which is really frustrating. Their lawyers, and actually even our lawyer, kind of arguing the toss over like insignificant shit. And where I work, I'm doing writing deals for £1 billion over 10 years, and this is like 300 grand over 5. It's not even that, less than that.
I often find it's the smaller deals that end up being more complex. Anyway,
100%. I mean, look, we were just trying to make sure none of us got shot if something stupid happens. Like it's all about liabilities at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Anyway, actually, thanks to Tony Greenwood, he found us a shop fitter that's done us a good favor in terms of pricing. Although, those people in retail, no wonder retail's closing down, because to do a shop fitting and follow all the methods and procedures and all the regulation, and you've got to have a supervisor. There's a guy watching the other guys doing the work. It's like, crikey, and you have to pay for that. So that bit's painful. Anyway, I said in the video we're doing a light touch. Well, literally, we're ripping everything out that we don't need, like clothes hanging poles and stuff like that. We're going to paint the place. So Matt's currently paint master Matt sounds like a rapper. He is putting together a crew to paint the place, which is really just to take the walls are dirty and stuff. They've been there, they've faded, so we just refresh the paint. The lights are going to be pretty much as they are. The floor's pretty much as it is. The floor's actually in reasonable shape. We're going to put a desk at the front. We'll do some signage, and just so you know, that's probably 15 grand.
Wow.
And our kind members who we started billing again, they've been super supportive. We've had a lot of ups and downs over the last year, floods and previously COVID, and a lot
of challenges, right?
Yeah, and our members have really stuck with us, so it's good that they're doing that.
I think it's going to look phenomenal when it's done, right? Because you're going to have all that space.
Absolutely. I mean, Matt and I were measuring it. We're going to have like one row with probably 35 games on it.
That's going to look amazing.
I know. So Matt was saying, "Oh, we get the frame of the picture of this big row of games."
Yeah.
And yeah, we were both in there really with a key in our hand now. And that was kind of exciting, especially after the amount of effort I've put in with these lawyers. Jesus. So we've done the deal. These guys are in there. We've got cutting a new door, so we've got this this proper kind of machine room fixing area where we can games that are we still want to probably fix most games in position, but if something's like waiting for a part or it's got a really bad issue, we can pull it out, stick it in the hospital and work on it. A good bit of storage means that we're hopefully going to we got 4 storage units right now. Costing us.
I've seen how crammed they are.
Grand. It's costing us about 1,500 quid a month on storage.
Yeesh.
I'm paying
so
for.
What's the plan? Do you think you're going to get the room fitted out? When do you think you're going to start occupying it?
So the shop fitters are now. Then there's a bit of work that the mall guys have to do with fire systems and emergency lights that's kind of centrally controlled.
Sure.
I think they'll all be done by the end of this month.
It's pretty quick.
Yeah, okay. And I mean, they're saying 2 weeks. I mean, there was a bunch of. I mean, it looked actually. The video would have looked better. So for those on audio, so there's a video of me wandering about just talking about the place, and there's a lot of stuff on the ground. Because a
lot of stuff in the storage areas as well.
Yeah, there's basically they're waiting for skips. There's 2 skips supposed to arrive. They both they're small and us got let down, so they're. I'm guessing that they're there by now, and all that gear that you see on the floor that would all be in the skip, but we're just waiting for them to arrive. So it'd look even better if they'd arrive. So. Anyway, Matt and I were measuring, just the size of the place, the amount of paint that we need. It's gallon.
Yeah.
So Matt's working on that. Hopefully we might have got a deal on someone, but we're going to need people to bring rollers and overalls and paint brushes and stuff. So lean in.
You'd almost be better off just getting what do they call it, like an air pressure unit, and putting your own just paint on it in it, and then just spraying it on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So
because of an area that wide, it definitely looks like
you're probably right. But look, we've got lots of people, and it doesn't have to look perfect because most of it will be behind a game, right? It just needs to. We're just trying to freshen it up. Especially on one side, there's a load of purple paint. It's like the 400 shades of purple because it's had stuff in front of it, and the light. The lights there are these kind of spotlights that are like they illuminate the clothes, if you like.
Got you.
And we're gonna have to figure out what we do with lighting, but it's not going to be in phase 1. It'll be in phase 2 because we just don't have the money. We're having to add more electrics. That's one of the things I'm trying to figure out. Actually, if anyone's listening, knows an electrician near Croydon, give me a ping, neil@domino.org. I'd really appreciate it because that's one of the other big tasks. I think we're okay to open right now, probably just if we kind of stick to 60 games. But if we want to go beyond that, which we're keen to do, which we actually kind of have to do because we want to shut all these storage units.
So you've got to upgrade all the circuit breakers and have your own.
No,
the
actual consumer unit. It's got an industrial consumer unit. That's fine. All we need to do is just run cable and rings. So
okay.
and actually that's relatively straightforward because of the way that they've designed the building. The place also got air conditioning, which is glorious news. Although I haven't actually figured out how you turn it on. So
is that included in your business rates, or do you have to pay on top of that?
No, that's included. It's
wow, that's gonna be nice then.
I mean, we're very fortunate that these guys have done us a deal. I won't share the deal because
contractual elements.
Yeah,
anyway.
I'm not even sure I'm allowed to share the deal. But
yeah, probably not. There's probably some non-disclosure agreement in there.
Yeah, there's something flashing in my room that's acting a bit bizarre. What is that? Hold on. Anyway, I'm gonna. What the hell is that? Anyway, something weird flashing that I'm not used to seeing flashing. Must be Godzilla topper. Anyway, so look, yeah, we're close. We are, and I mean, I wish I could pin down dates because we want to get in there. So anyway, Matt's working. I think the next big thing will be to do painting. There's some cleaning we need to do. We want to paint the back areas as well because they're a bit dirty looking. You'll see in the video. And they've actually helpfully they've reduced the price of parking, so it's going to be cheaper for people to come if they drive. We're literally, I got the tram. I just wanted to get on it to see how it was going back to East Croydon, which is in West Croydon, the train stations. But they're literally on our doorstep. We've got dozens of places to eat, coffee.
Going to be good, I think, because I think like you could be able to hold. Maybe even be able to do UK Open there, no? Or would you still keep it?
I think the UK Open might be a stretch. 150 people in there looks challenging to me. I think we could fit it in, but I don't think it would be comfortable. But look, we're definitely going to run some big events. You're
definitely going to be capable of some big events in there.
Yeah, no. So we'll be able to do, So I mean, one of the downsides of the previous place that we're trying to fix in this one, there wasn't a lot of places to sit. So if you were waiting, or you didn't want to play, you're either back in our rec room or there was one or two places you could sit, but there wasn't a lot of seats. So we're trying to fix that. And we're not going to have hundreds of seats, but between games, I like to sit down because if you're in a tournament, you're on your feet potentially 10 hours. So you want to sit down between games. We're going to have more seating, or the aim is to have more seating, and we're trying to build that. If you imagine, it's like one of those number puzzles where we're trying to get everything in the right order, maximize the space, and have the power in the right place so we can plug games in, blah 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 blah. Right, so. We've got a nice big area for a projector that we'll be able to project kind of tournament results and stuff on, and other stuff. We've got some signage going up with our logo on it on the front. We're excited about it. And we've been shut since February, end of February we closed. March, April, May, June, just 5 months. We're definitely. I think the folks who ran it, we miss getting together. Like Thursday night.
I can imagine it's been a while now, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, we've had a few events at various people's houses down here, but it really reminds us. We were talking about this at Swavesy, which was a great event actually. Well done to Mark for organising it. But we're talking about how much we missed.
The community aspect.
Yeah. Okay, we haven't had to deal with smelly pinball players. Please wash. But we have missed it. Even the kind of moaning neighbours that we used to have next door that were always a pain in the ass. And the road that used to drive down that would burst your tires at the
burst one of my tires.
Yeah, it did one of mine as well, mate. So anyway, look, we're so close we can taste it now.
Great.
But the next few months for us is make or break. So we either fortunately our members have stuck with us. We need a few more members. We need people to turn up. So I
think once people see how big the venue is and how easy it is to access it now, I definitely feel like you're going to get a more positive reception on it.
Yeah, look, and we're going to have some cool games that you can't play anywhere else. So
absolutely. It's going to look phenomenal. So as you say, seeing that huge lineup, I imagine you're going to put all the modern Sterns together as well. So you effectively have a Stern Alley.
Nah, we're not actually. So we're going to mix it up a little bit. So we kind of in the old club we kind of had the games by owners kind of tightly together. but what we're going to do is we're going to have a kind of modern classic, partly so that we can do some cool stuff with tournaments, partly so that we can spread the load of the games out.
Sure.
And but look, I think, as I said to Matt, we were trying to plan this. I was like, Matt, let's just get the games in here, stick them down, and then, it was like the old place. We had a few different layouts before we found the one that we liked the most. I said it's going to be the same thing. The challenge is in the middle of this area, there isn't as much power as there was in the old place. And so there's enough.
You know what
power.
might be a good idea? You could, because it would probably work for at least some of the designers, organize it by designer, because that still would. You'd have a George Gomez game, for instance. Do you know what I mean? Like back, Steve Ritchie, for instance, when he had his Bally Williams era, you could easily have that satisfies the classic while having a modern Steve Ritchie game next to it. So you could try that idea. Wouldn't be too bad, because you're kind of like, still matching game designer by, how can I put it, adjacent to each other, while still maintaining that old and new that you mentioned there, classic.
Yeah,
and
I think.
modern.
I mean, for sure, we'll look something like that. We'll definitely look at it. It's just a case of but Keith Elwin's only got new games, so
He has, true. Yeah,
we literally want to have this kind of. It's actually how District 82, who are a big venue in the US.
Yeah,
it's kind of how they're set out, and it works well for them. So we're trying to do the same. They've got much bigger space than us, but we'll see how it goes. But I'm excited about it. We got. The thing is it looks big, but I remember when we were leaving the old place and it was empty. We had one game left there that Matt was collecting.
It looked big, I bet.
Looked big.
Yeah.
But we were out of space there. We couldn't put any more games in. We'd rammed it. In fact, actually, a couple of us thought we had too many games at one point because it was hard to move around. But
do you think you'll ever put anything like a merch store in there?
Oh yeah, so I mean, this is some of the things that we're going to be able to do in this new venue. We got much more proper storage for things like like the other place. We had merch. We started off with it.
Okay.
We just didn't have anywhere to put it that kept it good or sensible. Yeah. So we're definitely gonna get merch, because we know that we're missing out on that.
Yeah.
We've done a few runs, one-offs and stuff, but we'll have a proper place to store it. Actually, one other thing, we're going cashless, which there'll be about 20 people having a heart attack here and that. But the reason for that is just managing cash for us has been a nightmare, frankly.
It gets harder and harder anyway to handle cash.
Also, and it's like we have to. Everything that we pay is electronic, so we've got to go to the bank. Actually, we get charged to deposit cash. So people say, "Oh, you'll save money." No, we don't.
No.
We will have some cash for the vending machine. We're trying to figure out if we can make the vending machine go cashless as well, but it's a bit old, so it's probably not likely.
Right.
But that is we just don't. Just dealing with cash has been painful for us, so we're going to avoid that. So in the last place we couldn't do it because the nearest cash machine was a 9-mile walk. This place, there's a cash machine literally right outside. So, if anyone kind of has an issue with that, they can figure it out basically. But it's we just think it's probably best moving forward, and also it just makes it easier for us to manage the books in terms of what cash is coming in, what sort of expenditure, and also if we want to buy something, I don't know, say we want to buy toilet rolls or something, that we kind of know who's doing it and where the cash, just the things are running a business.
Easier to trace.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not saying that anything horrible or anything bad's happening. It's just we in a world where we've doubled our costs, we need to be cost focused, right?
We just need to be cost efficient, right?
Absolutely, exactly.
Yeah.
So look, I mean, we're pretty much. I'll be honest with you. Almost, I'm going to say 90% of our money was done electronically anyway. So this isn't a big change in that respect.
No, I mean, I can't.
We're
It's rare that I pay stuff with cash
Oh,
anyway.
I've never got cash. Actually, you know what? I feel bad, right? I order an Indian takeaway, the guy delivers it, and I've never got cash to give him a tip. I just, it's like, sorry, mate.
Do you know? I see. I do the tips through the apps,
Yeah,
so whether it's Deliveroo, Just Eat, or whatever.
our takeaway doesn't have that option turned on.
Oh.
So, and the thing is, it's a really great Indian takeaway, and I don't want to change it, but I feel bad for the guy because I've never got cash on me. Mandy's never got cash.
Yeah. As I say,
Anyway,
it's hard enough. Anyway.
So look, we're Pinball Republic. The grand opening is August bank holiday weekend, but we'll probably be open before that. So keep an eye on the website, pinballrepublic.com, and we'll update more. Let's jump into our kind of more usual section again. I want to thank everyone, especially our members who have, they're effectively been paying for nothing.
Yes,
and
it's really good.
It's I hope a year from now, everyone's looking back and saying, it's worth it. We actually think if we get the volume we think, we'll be able to perhaps reduce the price a little bit, and make it more attractive for folks. We're going to run some big events. We're going to try and do more corporate events as well, where we rent the place out like on a Tuesday night or something.
That's not a bad idea. Yeah.
Yeah, it's easy to say. It's tough to do though.
I imagine
we did a few things like that in the old place. There was one time this guy, turns out he's like some sort of famous socialite in the US. I'd never heard of the bloke.
TikToker, no doubt.
No,
yeah.
he was someone, I don't know. Anyway, he basically punches up, says, "Oh, I want to come here." I was like, "Yeah, I just hit him with 500 quid," and he was like, "No problem." And I was like, "Shit, I wish I'd said 1,000." But
yeah.
And then we've had weird things, like we had a guy doing a retirement party. We charged him like, I don't know, I think it was 150 quid because he was, it was money for us for nothing, if you know what I mean. And if we charged more, he wouldn't have done it. So it's kind of.
Well, it's nice for you to do stuff at that price anyway. It's really nice.
Yeah, and actually, I felt bad for the guy because he didn't get a load of people turning up, and he'd like his family was there. We had all this food. It was anyway. But yeah, and this other thing, we got food venues, and we will have a smaller kind of rec area for people to sit down and have a sandwich or a bite or a drink or whatever. But before we had this kind of separate room and kitchen, so one of our challenges is we don't have a kitchen that's in the public area. So we're going to have to figure out how we manage those folks who want tea and coffee. We haven't figured that out yet, but we will do, because that's still there's 3 kind of changing room areas that we weren't able to take down because they're wired up to the fire system, and we're thinking of putting like a kettle or something in one of them so people can kind of make tea and coffee. But yeah, we'll see how we get on with it. I'm excited about it, and it's great to see the place getting fed out. Anyway, look, let's move on. Let's talk about our ins and outs, as the saying goes.
Yes.
Scott, I understand you bought your 3rd Alien.
Yeah, I know you're such a massive fan of both the company and the theme, but yeah, no, for me it's like
I like it. The movies Alien. I love.
Oh yeah, I suppose more accurately Alien. The game, I should say, less the theme.
The game.
Right? Yeah, look, I had the prototype, obviously from the UK.
Yeah.
So I had the SV,
the one that wasn't
but it was
a prototype. It was.
It was a prototype, yeah, confirmed by Pinball Brothers. It was one of the first 5 that were made. That's why it was so bloody buggy.
So it's rare.
Yeah. Like, I was the guinea pig. I ended up doing a lot of the changes you see in revisions were actually coming from me feeding back to them saying we're getting EMI interference on the cables. They need to be thicker gauge because that's what's causing a lot of the game hang up. So a lot of the revision changes came from the issues I had with my game. And obviously, then I got an LV, which is what's seen as the limited version of the game. So they basically had an SV, which is called the standard version.
Yep.
You could argue it's called a Pro, but it wasn't stripped down like Stern do. There was nothing missing from it, and it's a bit more like Spooky did with their Bloodsucker edition and standard edition. The only real difference between the two is a powder coat, if I'm honest with you. And it's the same thing with Alien. So yes, of course you could get the lit art blades and stuff like that, but whatever. Anyway, so I had that. That was number 23, I think, on the production line. because again, it was as a sorry from Pinball Brothers. They gave me early access to the game, and got me a limited version to replace the prototype. That had its own problems, because again, that had like issues where the game basically had dialing issues. It had a bad finish on the ramps, and by that point, my wife was just like, "I've had enough. Just get rid of it." So I got rid of it.
Yep. Well, you're paying big dollar, right?
Yeah, it was big dollar for the game even then at that point. So I feel like, time has passed. One was offered to me, and we'll move on to pricing in the market in a later bit of this episode. But it was at a price I couldn't say no. It had no plays on it. It had like 12 plays on it. So it's basically new. And yeah, it's number 700 or something in the run that they did. So it's had much more time to mature. I receive it tomorrow, so I'll know for sure whether or not it's got more of the problems I had with my first one.
We might have to do a supplemental recording.
Yeah, but I mean, like, there was a couple of reasons to revisit it for me. One was the fact that they added in Sigourney Weaver. So one of the main complaints I even had when I spoke to like Kato, which is one of the guys at Pinball Brothers, I said to him, like, I find it kind of frustrating that you guys haven't got Sigourney Weaver. He said, well, that was kind of stuff that had been done from the Andrew Highway days. They still, at that point, when they were speaking with Fox, because it wasn't Disney back then, they just couldn't get sign off. Sigourney Weaver was like, no, you're not having my likeness on it. And even up to what they released, which was seen as the Ripley version, so that's the RV edition of the game, they still at one point didn't even have sign off to have her likeness on the translite. So there were actually 2 translites made for that game. One with her face, and the other one with her face occluded by
I saw it with the robot. It was the Apollo 13. So Apollo 13, Tom Hanks wouldn't let and put his face on it.
That's it.
He's on there in a space suit.
In a space suit, with the visor down. Yeah,
absolute genius.
So it's just obviously I have done that now, and there's been a whole podcast with someone else. So I won't tread over this, but long story short, they got the sign off on everything, and to me, it's like not having Sarah Connor in Terminator. I mean, it's like it's a very prominent character.
Yeah, I mean,
to not have that person in it would be very mad to me.
Alien is Sigourney Weaver. I mean, it's like
Arnold Schwarzenegger, probably more fair. Anyway.
It'd be like having Godzilla without Godzilla. It just it isn't.
Yeah.
The movie Alien isn't about the alien, right? I mean, don't get me wrong, it's important. But the movie's about, the kind of whole human aspect of it.
It's all about a female protagonist, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And the movie...
I feel like...
I remember watching
you or I have cut off there, one sec.
Sorry?
I had break up from you there, so carry on, go on.
No, I think it prioritizes the recording over our... That's why I think it breaks up. But anyway,
sure.
I don't think it'll be. So we use a system, and occasionally it has its moments. And I did spend 20 minutes trying to figure out why the freaking hell my microphone didn't work. I don't know what it is, Apple, but every time I turn my Mac on, my microphone and sound stuff's all screwed up. Please stop that shit. Anyway, I am a Mac fanboy. I have been since 1983. When the original Apple Macintosh came out. Actually, I should get it out one day and show you.
But yeah, anyway, look. I liked Alien. I wanted it again. Hopefully, it's good, and I will be getting the topper because I think it's phenomenal. I think for that, it's a lot of money, but at least for that money, it's good.
What did you think of the big debate about the color, though?
I get it. The thing is, a lot of people don't realize, and I think this is still true. The topper's made in Israel, and obviously, it's not exactly a peacetime over there at the moment. It's difficult to get stuff in and out, and it's damn difficult, I think, for them to probably even get materials. So if there's, and they did specify that during production, color variances may occur.
Yeah.
Am I that hung up on it that it's not what it should be? Not really. Am I a little disappointed? Maybe.
Dark and no one will notice it.
I think as long as it delivered on what they said it would, which is it's mechanical. Do you know what I mean? It reacts to the code. It still looks the same. Yes, okay. That's aesthetically, it's got a different color.
It's very. I mean, it's a lovely topper, no question about it.
Absolutely.
It's a definitely.
It's up there with Black Knight for me, which again we'll be discussing in a bit.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a fan of that game, and it's not a terrible game. We had an original Highway one in the club, and it's just, for me, it just became a super repetitive game.
I mean, there's more code updates. Bear in mind now they're
Yeah.
on version 4 of the code now. They've added a new multi-ball. There's loads of bug fixes in the game because there were some issues around that. So I'm hoping that it's a new experience.
I must now that they've kind of ironed out the kinks.
Yeah.
It'd be good to have another play of it. Although, you know, I can't see me ever owning one. But
I mean, don't say no. With the prices the way they're going, you might get one.
Well, yeah, unless of course they do a BV edition where it's Alien in black and white.
Oh God! Don't give them that idea. Well, that's a good segue to move into the 70th edition of Godzilla.
Well, let me. So, I mean, actually, my pinball world has been pretty quiet.
Oh yeah, sure.
I've managed to pay for my John Wick. So it's on a ship being played by.
Wait, you bought a John Wick? I'm surprised at that. So you bought an LE?
Yeah. I
Okay.
I played the premium. I like the game. I like what they're trying to do with the game, and actually, Tim Sexton. We're gonna talk about Black Knight. You know, I like the way he does code. I always kind of like it. This game, I think, shoots really well. So I was in the US with work, and I was actually in this new pinball place, which I forget the name of, which is annoying. I'll try and remember it so that I can give them a shout. Anyway, this great new pinball place has opened up in Santa Clara, which is Silicon Valley where I work, and they had I think they've got about 25 games, and they had both the Pro and Premium right next to each other, so I was able to play both.
That's
the
good.
Pro is okay; it's not great, but the Premium's superb. I really enjoyed it. The car's quite cool, and some others is cool. Yeah, it doesn't have guns on the artwork, whatever. I'm not really looking at the artwork, but the inside the connected stuff on it's quite cool. Anyway, it's on the way. And hopefully Jaws Premium's on the way. So I've got a Jaws Premium for the club. We're going to take it to Pinfest.
Nice. Okay.
But it's not. I haven't heard where that is, so I don't know if it's going to arrive. I juggled a few games around. We took Pulp Fiction to Swayze, and we're going to take that to Pinfest as well. Game is just so good. I mean, the people were just kind of it was just rammed constantly playing it.
How's that clear coat holding up? Because I know you said you had issues at the rear.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any other issues, but a few folks on Pinside are seeing issues. It's certainly worrying. I mean, I've still got an LE on order, the big motherfucker edition, and I am super hoping that CGC do something so that same shit show doesn't happen. Because if they don't, I'm going to be pretty knocked about it. It's so unlike them as well.
I know you're in that crowd that I'm in. You don't particularly like the idea of putting down a large bit of plastic protector on top of the playfield. It just, I think it feels weird.
Putting a bit of Mylar down. So, for example,
Mylar's different, but I'm talking about an entire playfield.
Yeah, the entire playfield. I'm just not doing that. It's just nonsense. But like Foo Fighters and Stranger Things, you know, they've got a couple of areas where if you don't put normally you see in games heavy wear areas, they put Mylar down. Actually, on Pulp Fiction, there's a launch, right? And actually the ball, I kind of turned it down a little bit because the ball was launching so much, it was actually landing after the Mylar part. And if you go onto Pinside, you see loads of people with the switch that's after the Mylar and it's mangled. So if you get a Pulp Fiction, just check that out. Turn the power down so it's landing on the Mylar, because if it doesn't, it's a pretty heavy landing of the ball, and you're doing it every single time you launch, right?
Wow.
There's a couple other areas. Again, have a look at the thread on Pinside, but it's not. It's somewhat depressing that CGC, who are, I mean, I would never have expected this from them, because I got 4 of the other games and they've all been bulletproof. So I'm hoping that whatever it is has happened gets sorted out, so that by the time they get to the Bad Mothers, the BMF edition, which they're supposedly building in September, is the latest rumor. From some distros in the US.
I'm trying to remember what our bet was, because obviously you cheated a little bit by buying one in America and having it shipped over here. But I'm fairly certain you said you would have had one by now, according to your bet.
I said end of March. No, didn't I say? I need to go.
And
Listen,
we'd have to go back.
I
But
can't remember.
I'm fairly certain I said something like it would be like late December this year.
Didn't you say March next year? And
yeah, March next year. That was
I
it.
said this year, very close to. I think very close to Christmas. But so I think they'll make the LEs, but I don't think they'll make. We'll either get it. I think I said this on another podcast. We'll either get it like on the 23rd of December or on the 4th of January. One of the two. I'm hoping for like my attack from Mars. It's kind of weird. I opened the door and there's a guy there with a pinball machine. I'm like, what are you doing here? I know he just turned up with it on the 23rd. And I was really happy about that because I had a toy to play with.
That is a Christmas present.
Same thing happened with Walking Dead. It arrived on the 24th. I had nowhere to put it, and the house was
poor
like
guy working on Christmas Eve. God,
yeah, the house was rammed with stuff, so I had nowhere to put it. I was like just shoving the garage. I mean, it was kind of I was excited about it, but it sat in the garage till New Year's Day because I had nowhere to stick it at the time. This was before I had the big shed, so
yeah.
Look, I'm excited about it. But again, thanks to Philip Pinball Heaven for sorting me out John Wick and a bunch of other games. And I'm excited to get John Wick. It's got a lot of cool stuff from Inside and Connected. The code's still early, but yeah, I mean, and then what have I been playing? I've been playing Jaws and Iron Maiden and Bond 60th almost non-stop. Jaws is just
everyone
so
seems to keep bang on about how good Jaws is.
So good.
A couple of people I've been watching in the pinball community that are like, let's call them YouTubers. Definitely always saying how good that game is and how they've had to make room in their collection just to get it. So
it is. They've done such a great job on the you 1 minute you got this kind of soft intro and it's like everyone's happy and going to the beach, and then the next minute you're on the boat and it's like and fire and turn the boat around and he's like, hey, when
the code's not even final yet, is it? I suppose
it's some way away from final. That's the crazy thing, and
yeah.
But actually, the thing I learned about Jaws though, which is bizarre, right? Everyone thinks it's about Brody, and it's not.
Right.
It's absolutely not about Brody.
Last time it was about the shark, but okay.
Well, no, it's not. It's not about. Actually, the last thing it's about is the shark, right?
Okay, go on. What's your opinion on that then? Who's it intended at?
The game is about God, the other two guys' names who have just gone in my head. So it's Dreyfus and the other guy. It's about those two because the way this and the way that they've pulled the whole Jaws game together.
Yeah.
You really get a capture of those two really kind of opposites, and this kind of Brody, this kind of bag carrier in the middle of the two. I watched the movie again, and because I think it was 10, 20 years ago last one, it's like when you turn the channels and you see the last 20 minutes of it or whatever. But I watched that again, and it is absolutely about the it's going to drive me nuts because he's got a mode and the Richard Dreyfuss character, which everyone will be posting on our YouTube page what the names are, but those two guys and the way that Stern have pulled together this show, and then you've got the night swimming where it dims all the lights and you got this atmospheric thing. It's probably,
I think the part I quite liked was the way they tied in the tilt warning.
Yeah,
when he's scratching his nails against the chalkboard.
Yeah, absolutely, and smashes the radio.
You can tell they've watched the movie, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is the thing about Keith and his team. That they're sticklers for detail like that.
It's nice.
They're adding more. There's loads of videos in it that they haven't used yet, and they're adding more of them.
That's good that they've got rights to carry on doing it then, and to keep on adding material.
I honestly, I think Jaws is going to be a super close second to Godzilla in terms of people wanting it. The thing is the theme, because it's kind of, I wouldn't call it a retro theme or a nostalgic theme. It's an older classic, right?
Yeah.
Whereas Godzilla is still kind of modern, kind of retro. I think Jaws has got a bit of a step back, or it's kind of it's a bit harder for it to be successful, right? But they've nailed it basically, and actually my grandson was playing it, and when the shark comes out, he's like, "I gotta hit the shark," and it's just the joy in his face when that shark pops out. No, it doesn't eat the ball, but no one cares. You know, he is so excited about it. But yeah, no, they've done a great job. And I'm playing Iron Maiden. Actually, Iron Maiden and Bond 60th because they're in the Pinside tour, Pinfest tournament. And my Iron Maiden is just brutally hard. Me and Brad was down here. We did a stream, and oh my god, it was it was like we were. I mean, Brad,
kicking you to the curb, was it?
yeah, Brad's a good player. He's way better than me, but he was struggling with it as
What
well.
do you
But
do then? Do you just put it on a real high tilt and then the lane's really wide on
yeah,
the outlanes?
it's set brilliant. But actually, I don't know how this happened or when it happened, but it's actually quite floaty. And I'm not used to floaty games, so
No,
but
I'm not either.
it's
I do find it actually
fun.
really weird sometimes when I go to Pinfest and that, and I'm like, this game feels like it's just been basically like the front leg and the back legs are on equal height.
Yeah, the ball goes down the outlane like in slow motion. I'm like,
Yeah, and I
I'm waiting
can't
for the
adapt to it
ball.
because it's going too slow.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. So yeah, and then I got the Jaws topper. I don't know if I'd got that but last time we were here. I can't remember. But it's actually quite cool because it, like, depending on the time of day, it has different lighting.
It's so cool for the money. Yeah,
So,
it's
yeah,
great.
$1,000. I could buy like 4 small children
look,
for that money.
I'm going to say this now. I think, right, let's move on to Godzilla because it's a perfect time to do that now.
Okay, yes.
When they added in the Monsters Challenge mode code update and said, hey, this is great, it's going to go to all models now. Yes and no, because the reason why I say yes and no is that code was exclusive to the topper originally. And then,
was it?
Yeah. Well, it was.
So look,
And let's face it, the word exclusive doesn't really mean much in the world of Stern.
This is what Tom Graff was saying on Triple Drain, which is if you go into Stern, and you go into Gary's office or Seth's office or George's office, and they've got a dictionary, and you flip to exclusive, it's clear that the page has been ripped out of all those dictionaries, right?
Yes,
because
absolutely.
they do not get what the fucking word exclusive means, and it pisses me off, if I'm honest with you.
Well, because if I'm buying an overpriced piece of plastic, which is what it is, I'm sorry, that topper is an overpriced piece of plastic. To me, the saving grace is, well, I've got exclusive code that only is on that topper. If you suddenly now make that code accessible to everyone else, that devalues my topper.
Mate, 100%. The worst, though, was Bond 60th.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely.
The topper was supposed to be exclusive to the game.
To the 60th, yeah.
I mean, I don't know how, Stern are lucky someone didn't go after them for that, frankly. And, not that it's huge, but...
I know I know we're griping, but I do feel like that's just something Stern need to learn.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, the one thing they did do with the 60th topper is Keith signed them all. So on the back of it, you see Keith's signature, which is... okay, they realize they've cocked up, right? I actually think the Bond 60th exclusive was a cock up, not a change of direction. I think the organization
miscommunication in the business then.
Yeah, I think sales said we're going to make it exclusive, or marketing said no, we're going to sell loads of it. That's my take. I don't know if it's true. Actually, it's a great topper, so I've got 2 of them. I don't mind having 2 of them, and they've coded them very differently, so they almost behave differently. But the Godzilla. Here's the thing about Godzilla, right? They haven't released this code yet, right? I am going to be... I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt, and I'm going to say...
I wouldn't.
There's already people waiting for McRae to be wrong. I'm going to say that what they give away is going to be different in some shape or form from what the topper is. That is my guess, right? Actually, let me tell you, I've got the topper.
That would involve effort on their part. I don't think so.
In fact, I actually got some exciting news. Actually, and I'll post this on our page. Remind me to. The great guy, Paul Boucher, who does mods. I forget the name of his company. It's gone out of my head. I need to look it up.
I would unfortunately not know who that is.
Okay, he was
if you go by the name of the company, I might know.
He was on our podcast. He was one of...
sorry.
Paul, yeah?
Sorry, is that Paul? Right, sorry.
So, I got a glorious email today. It's Mojo Mods, right? So Paul, Mojo Mods did this amazing Godzilla replacement for Godzilla, like the creature at the back. So
Yes, yeah, I've
before
seen it. The way he does the light up
the layup,
spine.
right? So
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's one of the best mods.
Paul sent me one early to test because he wanted to make sure it fitted in the premium LE, and I said, "Yeah, no problem, stuck it in." It is gloriously nice, so much better. The old one looks like Godzuki out of the cartoon.
Well,
This
it's an
one,
anime kind of Godzilla, right? It's
yeah,
green and blue. So
this
what's it?
one.
He's done it more like in black and white, right?
No,
Like great.
even
Or...
better.
Okay, go on.
Even better. Well, I don't know if he's going to do a black and white version. I doubt it, but you never know. If there's demand, he might do it. But
Sure.
he on the topper, Stern used the same model of Godzuki on the Godzilla topper, and of course, Paul looked at it and thought. And I managed to acquire him a topper when we were in Texas. He looked at it and said, "Well, that's a load of old toss," and he has built the Godzilla upgrade for the topper. Mine's shipped this morning.
Nice.
So it is due to arrive tomorrow between 8:30 and 12:30 p.m. and I'm super excited about this. So somehow I
got to admit, it's one of the, next to Stumbler's Tokyo sign. Those are two must-have mods for me.
Oh, 100%. And actually, I mean, the other mods that Stumbler's done on Godzilla are amazing. And actually,
Saucer, yeah.
he's. I mean, he's kind of, you know, he was wondering. We were having a chat, like, should I do these in black and white? I was like, mate, here's my issue. So going to the black and white Godzilla, right, which is this whole exclusive thing, right? They've included a mode, right? We'll find out what that mode is soon when the code drops. It hasn't dropped yet. My Godzilla's been on all day. In the hope that it might drop before this, but it didn't. Anyway, the you know, he's like, should it in black and white? I was like, look, mate, everyone who wants a Godzilla surely has got a Godzilla by now, right? And if you want one,
that would have been my opinion, yeah.
If you want one, they're pretty abundant, and you can get them for $2,000 off, right? If someone, you know, there's not many.
Well, this is the conversation that was going on another podcast I was listening to, and they were saying, "Oh, you know, it's a good thing that you got Godzilla. They hold their value." And I thought, it's like Adam's Family, though. Surely, there's thousands of them.
Yeah,
it's probably the most sold game Stern ever had. It's still doing runs now, whatever it is, 5 years on.
Yeah.
There's got to be at least 10,000 of them out there. I honestly don't think they hold their value because there would be too many of them.
Exactly. I genuinely believe it's the best-selling game of all time. I think it's overtaken every other game. Just with the number. I mean, everywhere I go, I see a Godzilla. You know, there's just so many of them.
Rightly so. I mean, I didn't like the game, but I can appreciate it was one of Stern's best innovative pieces. I still think that building mech is insanely good. It's so smooth.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, the you know, it's a great game. It's a great theme. The music, they got everything right on it.
Sure.
But you know, they come out with this black and white edition now. Hats off to George and Seth. They said it would be premium and premium priced if they did any more specials. They've done that.
Yep.
But it's annoying to see the limited edition artwork foil in black and white, exclusive. I think I need to I think we should do this. Let me just.
What we're going to do, like a sound effect every time we say the word exclusive.
Yeah, I think we should have like I don't know, an explosion or something. No,
an explosion's probably good.
I was going to read out the definition of exclusive.
I wouldn't. I think everyone knows it but Stern, so I wouldn't worry.
Yeah,
but my point is that I look at it and I go, you're right. I agree with you absolutely. It looks good. Is anyone going to buy it? Ironically, it might actually be more rare than the limited edition because they probably sell less units than anyone else.
There's no doubt it's going to be more rare than the limited edition, mate. No doubt about it, right? Even though they've not made it limited, because there's so many out there, it's going to limit the demand. Now, look, if you're looking for a Godzilla, you've got a great position to be able to buy it. Actually, personally speaking, I've talked to a few people about this. I actually think what Stern have done is lazy. And it's not a criticism of the art or anyone that's working on it, but if they wanted to do a black and white Godzilla, then go crack open the archive of black and white Godzilla movies and update the game based on one of those movies specifically, right? What they've done is literally logged into Photoshop and say, hey, we've only got these 3 colors. Boom. Macro roll. Bang. Game. Print.
Well, yeah. Monochroming a game is not hard. I did it with Dracula. As much as someone turn around and say, this is my unique art, it's not. All you're doing is literally putting in a monotone, you know,
I mean,
how can I put it? You're doing a gothic version of the game, basically.
Yeah, I mean, look, I love the game. I love the guys at Stern. I think they've done a phenomenal job. But this is a cash grab. There's just no other way to describe it, right?
I think the Blood Red Kiss edition from Elvira was probably more effort.
Oh, it was way better, way better.
And I think out of all the editions, it's for me, it's the best one by far.
I mean, oh, no
I just don't know
question.
if Godzilla would have. I don't know. It just doesn't. As you say, too many people have it. Elvira, I would say, doesn't have that same kind of mass purchase buyout anyway, because that's why they did a new run of premiums. So for them to kind of do a new run of a limited edition of it was probably a smart move, even though I don't really agree with their practices.
I mean, Elvira. If I was an Elvira 40th edition buyer, I would be fuming.
Yeah,
I would have lost it. Or if I had an LE, SLE or LE. I mean, my Elvira is a premium because I ordered it late, and the LEs are gone.
Yeah.
So, and I love the game. It's phenomenal, but
it is a good game. I just feel I don't know. I'm a little bit worried with Stern keep doing this. Like, and everyone seems to forgive him for it, so they can just carry on doing it, I suppose.
Well, you say that, but I don't think. I think this whole LE thing has hurt them. I look at Wick, right?
Yeah.
They haven't sold out LEs of Wick. They haven't sold out.
They haven't sold out LEs of Bond.
Of Venom.
No.
You can still
buy a Bond LE. I know people who have them in stock, sat in a warehouse. It's crazy.
The only game that's sold out LE recently is Jaws, right?
Yeah, rightly so. It's a good game.
And I think. I absolutely think people are saying, well, I'll just wait for the premium and save $4,000.
Well, it's a bit like Jurassic Park. Do you know what I mean? I would have had, if I had to choose out of all of them, I would have had the 30th edition. It's better than the LE.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've got, as an LE owner, that infuriated me because actually it was the last proper limited edition. They only made 500 of them, I think, or
500, I think. Yeah, I had one as well. I stupidly sold it. I shouldn't have really.
Yeah, and it's like, oh well, the one game that has got some exclusivity, is, and by the way, that means limiting or limited to possession, ownership, or use by a single individual or group. Stern. So I might get them up. Actually,
you're going to upset a couple of people.
That could be a gag. I could get Neon exclusive and send it into the Stern factory. Yes, moving swiftly on. But look, I know, like, so Tom Graff, he's a buddy of mine. He's on Triple Drain. He does, he's like, I'm not buying LEs anymore. And he's had every LE there has been since the year dot.
Wow. Okay.
It's just not worth it. And I definitely feel that there is a vibe. I mean, let me tell you, the reason I buy LEs is because it's the quickest way of getting a premium in the UK.
Okay.
So if you want, if I want Jaws premium, I'd still be waiting for it.
Yeah.
Or I might have got. Actually, no, I would have got it by now. But it wouldn't have been in. Actually, Jaws is a bad example because they had delays. But say I wanted Godzilla premium, it might have been the second or third boat over. So you wait and
quite a long time waiting to play it
for I think Godzilla LE to get over here. I can't remember, but it was a long time. And then you want the premium, it's not on this boat, it's on the next one. It's like, so that's...
So you don't buy an LE because... I was going to ask you if it came from a price point of view. So it doesn't bother you then that the machine's now greatly devalued because of other editions?
No, it absolutely does bother me.
Okay. Because the only reason I bring that up is I brought that up in a thread on Pinball Info, and then I got told by certain individuals, if you're obsessed with price, you're in the wrong hobby.
Not the Pinball Info Superstar Club.
Yeah, exactly. But this is the thing. It's like I feel like saying to these people, if you're all right losing $3,000 to $4,000 on a purchase, I mean, good for you. Personally, I think that's terrible. I mean, like, for me, I treat them a little bit like a watch, and and maybe naively so, I always used to think pinball machines would somewhat hold their value, or only decrease in value a little bit, sometimes even increase in value. At least it was around COVID times. I did not expect to see thousands upon thousands of pounds lost on these games. Like, it makes me go, well, I'm out of the new in box because I'm not willing to let that kind of depreciation
Yeah,
occur.
look, and so am I bothered about LEs devaluing? 100% I am. But
Yeah.
let's just take a step back for a minute. I don't think it's unreasonable for something to say limited edition or exclusive, and for that to remain to be the case, right?
No.
That's just, otherwise so here's a question for Stern. And I've nibbled at him, as I had a bit of a debate with Seth on LinkedIn of all places, about the value of you guys keep screwing your best customers, right?
Sure.
And the LEs, let me tell you, profit margin wise, 1,000 LEs is probably 5,000 pros, right?
I imagine so. Yeah.
So
There's thick margin
you
on
don't want to
those.
bite the hand that feeds you. So, and that's why I think the premium thing changed. Now, that's a step in the right direction, but is it enough? I'm going to say no, it's not.
I honestly think they need to drop the number of limited editions down again.
Yes. So that I 100% agree. It should be 500,
Mm.
right? That is truly limited. Although, to be fair to them, Jersey Jack, there's 1 million limited edition Guns N' Roses out there.
Yeah, but that you have to go by their collector's edition, right? So
Yeah.
I think like collector's edition is their LE, and I can't remember how many Guns N' Roses there were, but it was a low number, wasn't it? 325, something like that.
Yeah, but they'd call that limited. Do you know what I mean?
They should have. They have a very confusing. But then again, didn't they fix that with Elton John? Didn't they change it to like
they've changed it
premium
to
edition or
platinum
something?
edition or some bollocks
That's
like
it.
that.
But at least it's better than the word limited, because
No,
again,
100%, 'cause it's
Jersey
not limited.
Jack didn't seem to understand what limited is,
Yeah.
and didn't know what exclusive was.
Limited is you stick a number on it.
Yeah.
No. So look, I think in my mind, I think Stern have done what they said they would do, which is good.
Sure.
On the one hand, but I'm still like looking at it, question the value, because I go buy that black and white one, right? I'll probably get it, I don't know, 11 grand, right?
Sure.
I'll buy a speaker light kit and speakers for $250. I'll buy the
The topper, I imagine.
art blades for 100 quid.
Yeah.
And I'll get powder coated by Jiminy Cricket down the road for 80 quid for the whole powder coating. And I've got effectively an LE, right?
Yeah.
So I'm looking at it thinking, wow, if they can do a limited or a special edition for the price of a premium, then where's the value in the LE now, Stern? Right? And
Double-edged sword, isn't it? Yeah.
they have. I genuinely believe this Godzilla is a mistake on that part, because
Because they put the foil on as well, didn't they? Which can't be cheap. But again, they've done it.
Where is the value in the LE? Because it's not limited, it's not exclusive. So
well, it's got that really expensive plaque next to the speaker.
Yeah, that's right.
Sorry, Stern, I am digging at you, but like honestly, I think there needs to be a change in direction, in my view. I think limited edition needs to be limited. You need to protect your collectors. They're the people that are providing you the rich margin that you deserve or want.
And they're the people that, when times get hard, will still afford to buy
Continue
stuff.
to buy.
Right.
Yes.
So look, I'm hopeful that Stern, like, they listened the last time when I moaned about this. Also, as an LE owner, like, let me just count: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 LEs in this room right now. What do I get for that? Where's the loyalty? Right? If I'd gone out and bought 11 limited edition Ferraris, I'd be having dinner with a Ferrari CEO, right? And it's very.
I mean, to be fair, the price of Ferrari is a little bit more than the pinball machine, but I know what you're saying.
You know what I mean? It's like it's like, hey, I'm a loyal customer. I've got another 5 LEs in my storage unit. It's like, what is why should I keep buying? Stern, tell me why I should keep buying an LE.
Yeah.
Tell me that.
Yeah.
Because I don't see it right now. Other than the fact that because I live in the UK,
you can get it.
I get an LE quick. I get an LE 2 months quicker than I get a premium. And actually, I've definitely.
It's quite a price premium to pay now, isn't it?
It is.
I mean, that's the thing. It used to be that the price of LE between premium was only about 2,000, right?
Yeah, now it's what, 4 or 5.
Yeah.
But look, here's the thing, though, right? If I find suppose I don't know, I found a second-hand Wick Premium for 10 grand, I could ship it to the UK for £1,000. It's still less than an LE, and I get it quick, right? So
True.
And I can, get Jimmy Cricket, do my powder coating. I can buy the speakers from Doug. Life is good.
You can get Joe Bloggs to do your frequency change.
That's 3. Oh, I've done it. It's so easy. It make you cry.
Not that we're advocating such a thing, by the way.
Don't do that. It may be illegal. It could set your house on fire, but it probably won't. Anyway, the whole, why do I want to buy an LE? And then I look at what's going on right now on Pinball Info, the superstar of pinball knowledge and information, and I look at poor Phil, who's trying to sell a Guns N' Roses CE, and someone it's like, I don't know, £3 million, and someone is selling Guns N' Roses LE for £8,000, and I predict Phil's future has a 9 at the start of it, unfortunately, because
will it be that low? Maybe. I mean, like, I think it might sell at 10. I think it is difficult, especially in this market. And we spoke about this offline before, but I feel like the market in the US and the UK are in a very bad spot right now. If you are selling a game, it is the worst time to be selling. I mean, I bought, as I said, my Alien for a fraction of the cost of what it would have cost me to buy it new. And there's a lot of more games that are also fitting into that category right now. There's just no money about, and I feel like people just don't want to spend that kind of cash.
I'm trying to remember, when did you get into pinball, before COVID or during COVID?
I unfortunately joined it right at the height. I joined it 2019.
Right, okay, so see, this is the thing, right? Before COVID, what you're experiencing is the normal.
Sure.
Maybe LEs were the one exception. They would hang on to value a little bit more, but if you bought an LE, you're probably going to lose £1,000, £1,500, right?
Right.
When you sold it, and now it's a bit more than that, which is frustrating.
It's the percentage change, isn't it? Because that's what I found with Elvira. I lost, what was it, 3,500 on that, but percentage-wise, it's probably about the same. But because the value of the game has gone up,
exactly, it's huge.
The price of it that it loses is greater. So,
look, this is the thing. I can't remember what thread it was, but it was a thread where, people are saying, well, I got 2 games I want to sell, but I can't afford to take the loss. I'm like, here, can I just be really clear? We have not reached the floor.
No, we haven't. No.
So if if you're sitting on, I don't know, an £8,000 Venom Pro, right? Or actually, let me read. Say you're sitting on an £8,000 or £7,000 Deadpool, right? You're going to struggle very soon to sell that for £5,000.
Maybe.
Really?
Maybe.
I'm super convinced about it.
I mean, I definitely have felt a massive downward turn. I'm seeing AIQs go up for 5.5.
Yep.
And I think they haven't found a buyer.
Yep.
And I'm just like, well, this is pretty alarming to me to see these prices drop. I mean, for you're seeing the market correcting itself. For me, I'm seeing, because I'm looking at it from a window of where I started to where I am now, I'm just seeing a massive downward trend.
But this is the thing. Everybody's saying that and thinking, in this market, guys, this market's not going to get any better.
But then that's what is interesting, though, because it's a bit like, I suppose, anything at the moment, whether it's watches or cars or whatever, we're seeing a massive correction in the used market, but not in the new purchases yet.
Actually, that's
only back that up with the fact that we're not seeing full sellouts of games, i.e., what we mentioned before.
Yeah,
many stocks left of James Bond Pro. Venom, and all the others.
Pinball, that's for sure. But look, I happen to know quite a lot of car manufacturers. You can buy. So I was just thinking of a car I just bought. It was cheaper than the one it's replacing.
Okay.
So it's
I'm not saying that there must be mounting pressure from the manufacturers to do a price correction, but I just don't know if that's a domino effect. It's dangerous precedent to lower prices.
The thing is this is the pain of inflation, right? They might have to cut the price, but their costs don't change because they're still, if you think everyone who's had a 5% pay rise over the last, I don't know, or the train drivers. Hello, David. It's had 300%.
Well, cost of materials, everything, right?
Everything's up, right? And we haven't got depression, so none of that.
I think the only thing that has come back down is the cost of electronics, at least at the moment. But then again, there's supposed to be a rumored silicon shortage again soon, so we're going to see some price hikes again, I think. So,
but the cost of electronics overall is still higher than what it was pre-COVID, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, okay. I agree with that statement.
So, there was two issues there. There was a massive demand and shortage, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I look at handhelds. I buy a lot of handheld gaming consoles because I'm a nutter, and they're definitely, they're in demand. They're maintaining prices, but it's a kind of different. It's a different market because you're not buying a 150 kilogram bit of wood. So, but those of you that are looking at your collection saying, "Oh, I can't sell this because I'm going to lose this amount of money," you've already lost it. That's the thing. You're not. You've got you think that you haven't, or you think that I'm going to be able to sell this for $8,000 or close to what I paid for it. You're just not. And I wish it was not the case, because it's going to hurt a lot of people. And actually, next month or the month after, there's something like 500,000 people coming out of fixed term mortgages.
Oh right, okay.
That are going to, even though interest rates aren't the peak, they're still going to feel pain. And interest rates, and I work for a investment company. We invest in digital infrastructure. Interest rates, our long-term focus view of them is 3.5% to 4% for the foreseeable future.
Quite high,
it's not coming down.
Where it was.
It's not coming down to the 2%, 1.5%. Kind of madness
that we had at one point.
Yeah. I mean, it's just not going to get to that level. And actually, that, from my perspective, that's a good thing, because you at that level you kind of devalue everything.
Sure.
But here's the reality is, and I say this to people. A lot of people ask me, if I'm buying a car, I'm like, dude, don't buy a new car. Go buy one that someone's had for 2,000 miles. If you want to buy a pinball machine, go buy one that someone's had, X number of plays on it. Just make sure you ask them politely how many plays it's had, because
the trigger warning on that one.
What you don't want is someone trying to sell something that's clearly had more plays than it's stated, but has amnesia. You definitely don't want that, because that's going to piss people off. But genuinely, you want to, or don't buy a game. Come Pinball Republic, play it there.
This is the beauty of it, right? I think, like, if you're not willing to lose thousands on a game anymore, your better option is to probably, if I'm honest with you, either rent it or go to a place where you can play on a subscription fee, like you're offering.
You want to play Godzilla and not lose $2,000 on it when you sell it? $2,000, you get a lot of you'll get a lot of visits to Pinball.
You get a lot of plays out of $2,000.
Not only will you get. Not when you get into Pinball Republic, you can hire a chauffeur to drive you there. You can go to your favorite burger joint, get a burger. You can have a night out, and then you can come play Godzilla for 5 hours on a Saturday afternoon. And
this is the thing, isn't it? When you put it into that perspective, it really does make you think.
It used to be so my thinking of that was all around snow tires, right?
Okay.
I'm a big BMW nut, as most people know, and you get and when I'm putting my snow tires on, I'm like, you're mental. It's like, wow, well, snow tires and wheels are going to cost you $3,000, maybe $4,000. That's a fucking shitload of Ubers. So if it snows, and the thing is, even if you got snow tires or snow, or whatever, no one else has them, so they get stuck and you get stuck, or even worse, they don't stop and they plow into you, and you're like, hey, I've got my snow tires. It just utter madness. So when the weather got to that stage, I'm an Uber. And you get a mighty a lot. I mean, you literally drive around the world with $4,000 worth of Uber, right? So,
sure.
I mean, but I go back to it as, when you're looking for a game, just question, where is the value? There's still some.
I think for me, right, I'm not saying I'm entirely out of the new box, because that would be a lie. It has to be the right theme. If there's the right theme, I will part money.
Yeah.
And I think, but I won't be in this situation where I let the FOMO take control anymore.
No
way.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the other thing, is you got to be sensible about it. So, if you're, I mean, it's like me. Venom arrived and it sat in the box for 2 weeks before I opened it. That's just nuts, right? Because I travel a lot, so. But be sensible about it. But honestly, the other thing is make sure you play a game before you buy it.
I wish we could in this country. It's damn difficult. That's the problem, isn't it?
It is. But look, we got a big community out there. People, they'll come around, they'll make you tea, they'll let you play their games. Some games.
Oh, I mean, from a new in-box point of view.
New in-box point of view. Look, then it's about being patient, mate.
Yeah, it's true. Well, that goes back to that FOMO statement. So yeah.
Anyone if I've got a game that some people want to play, like Pulp Fiction, loads of people have played it in the UK because I brought it here. And some people have said, "Oh, I want mine even quicker now. I want it now." Other people are thinking, "I'm not sure this game's for me." I suspect more people play it. I think there's going to be 2 of them actually at Pinfest. I think Gonzo's bringing one and I'm bringing one. So
it's nice to see that, though. I know some people might gripe about duplication, but sometimes you can't get on a game because some guy sat there and hit 4 players.
Exactly.
And he's playing 20 balls.
Yeah. And he's still actually in Pulp Fiction. 20 balls won't take long anyway, mate. So
all right, fair enough.
It's a challenging game, but it's so well done. It's insane. They just did a code update for it as well, which fixes and changes a few things, but. Let's move on. So,
yes.
But Luke, pinballs, the world of COVID, where you could sell more than what you got. It was a fantasy time, short of another pandemic. But even then, I think we would have a very different kind of world. Those days aren't coming back anytime soon. And likely is the market's going to get a lot worse before it gets a lot better. Europe's also a shit show in terms of pricing. The 10 grand totem, hopefully that world has ended. Right, we're going to talk about... the other thing we want to talk about was... I forgot, I've lost my list. Hold on.
Was it Pinfest? Because that was the end of the
thing. It was Pinfest, yeah. Well, actually, it was about Black Knight.
Black Knight as well, yes.
Yeah, so Stern re-released Black Knight. There's a lot of videos and stuff going about it. It's a great game. I encourage everyone to go out and have a look at it. I'm kind of amazed. If you believed, the feedback from when they first did Black Knight, to know that they were doing more of them was kind of a shock.
I was surprised because it wasn't well received in our country. I know it wasn't too well received in the US.
No,
I liked it. It was I think it was my 3rd game I bought.
Yeah, I mean,
it's brutal. I think it's a bit unfair when that mace is spinning and you've got to make your shot through it. I hate that.
No,
that thing's nasty.
It's a tough game, but it's got it's a very well produced game.
Yeah,
the code's pretty simple. And
I liked fighting the bosses. I like the code idea.
I love
it's great.
For me, the music in the ice mode is just
music's amazing. And the animation.
Yeah,
I don't know who did the animation, but it's so good. Like a lot of things I'm always critical of, and this is what I miss about the DMD era, is that I found that DMD animations were really nice, and then you got to like the more modern LCDs, and I expected the animation to step up, but in some cases it stepped down. A lot of it was like still images with maybe some flashing lines behind it, and it's like, well, that's not animation.
It's expensive to fill that screen.
Absolutely.
Super expensive. People talking about Spike 3, which will have, I'll have 4K. I'm like, I doubt it. I think it'll have 1K. I think it'll have HD. 20.
I honestly think the Black Knight animations are really cool.
Oh no, they're
really
awesome.
Well done.
I mean, I love the game. I've still got my LE. It's still in the corner. It's a game I'll just never part with.
It's good.
But I'm hoping that they do maybe drop out another code update or maybe more achievements. We'll see. That would be nice.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely seeing a lot on the socials of the people talking about it, and a heavy uptake on the topper, but rightly so. It's one of their best toppers.
It's great. I mean, it's Foo Fighters have kind of ripped it off, but it is a great topper. Yeah. And then the other big topic is Haggis.
Yes, of course.
I don't mean with neeps.
The Scottish nasty meal that you guys invented.
It's a delicacy, my friend. It's a delicacy. So as of today, which is Wednesday the 17th of July, there's a post on Pinside where someone's posted a photo of the factory being emptied, and apparently they've been evicted. And ultimately, it's definitely the beginning of the end. I would say, or at least a confirmation that the end is in sight.
It's a real shame because I mean, like I was saying to you before,
I agree.
and again, it's just I like to see pinball companies outside of the US
Yeah,
thriving,
yeah,
and I quite liked the what they did with Fathom, and I saw Centaur when Kerry Hardy did that
yeah.
release video, and it looked good. But then when he played it, I was like, maybe not so.
I have to say, I'm not a fan of Centaur as a game. I mean, look, I've played the Fathom, both editions of it, and it's a gorgeous looking game. It plays lovely.
Yeah,
Marty and Damien, really nice guys. I feel for both of them because they put their heart and soul into this.
no, it's good.
And it's a
And
shame.
I'd say it's a real shame because I'm more worried, I suppose, about the people that have put money down and now they're going to lose it probably.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen Phil is owed 3 games.
Yeah, that's
on
from
the
Pinball
forum
Heaven for those not
Pinball
aware, but
Heaven.
yeah.
So, and then, but and then Zach Meany, who runs Flipping Out Pinball, actually a really great retailer in the US. He was the kind of sole distributor for the US, and I think he's going to swallow a lot of deposits. But my kind of take is hey, we've still got 20 of this old game to build, but we're launching our new game and we want deposits. For me, the alarm bells was just ding-a-ling-dinging at that point. And that in the UK, that by definition is operating insolvently. It is illegal to do that here in the UK.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's illegal to do it in Australia because most of their laws are similar to ours.
Well, it's basically the equivalent of robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Yeah, absolutely. And every all these companies that have had all the big issues have done this. Highway did it. Deeproot did it.
Raza guys, Deeproot, yeah.
Everyone's gone through this sort of deposit, this non-refundable deposit shit show. And
it definitely puts a lot of I think anxiety over any new business now asking for money. Because then you're seeing all these failures far too common now, right?
Yeah, you look at the Barrels of Fun guys who got Labyrinth out the door. I mean,
they took the right attitude though. They showed up with a working set of games.
Exactly. They kept everyone quiet. They got it out. Boom. And they're able to, they move the games out. But, I can imagine, if you put your deposit down, back in March when they announced it, back in October when they announced it.
It's a bit like Dutch Pinball, right? They had that same problem where for ages it was like, are we going to get a game?
I mean, my hat's off to I have to say I genuinely was wrong on whether they would recover from that. I was saying they're never coming back. Fair play to them for working through it.
Thank God in a way, because as I say, again, it's just people getting what they wanted, right? A lot of people like that license.
I mean, some people waiting 8 years for a game. I mean, that's just
crazy.
And then and also the games. There's so many of them now. The value's dropped out the floor of them. So it's a kind of two-edged sword on that. But and they've apparently they've got Back to the Future. So that'll be if you're a big fan of that, do you put the grand in and wait for, I don't know, 6 months?
A quick one on that. I didn't realize, but the guy that plays Marty McFly's dad,
George,
obviously, George McFly. I can't remember the name of the actor, but
he took them to court, I think, or something.
Well, the whole thing happened that they took the mold of his face, and then used that as basically an additional prosthetic mask for the second film because he didn't want to act in it because he didn't like the way the story ended in the first film because it was a focus on they have wealth, they're happy, and he didn't like that. He thought it's like they have love, they have happy, which was the basic thing of it.
He's a fucking actor, man.
I know, and then in the second film he was like, I don't like what's happening with my character, so there was a lot of obviously fallout with the director, but as a result he obviously won that court case to not have his appearance, his likeness, because that's his IP. So that means I imagine some difficulties now to have his likeness and his face in a pinball machine.
But I mean, I think they can get away with that. They'll put him.
Maybe
there's a way that they can cope with that. He's not. Look, he's an important character, but he's not. He's not like a core character.
It'd just be interesting to see how they handle it.
Oh yeah, absolutely, for sure. Anyway, look, hopefully Haggis will turn it around, but it's hard to see. If you're working with a new pinball company that you don't know, you haven't, they're just new kids on the block. If you give them that $1,000, make sure you give them $1,000 so you can afford to lose, because
Or put on a credit card.
yeah, or take precautions, exactly.
Yeah.
Or just wait for them to turn up and then
True.
buy one second hand.
Goes back to your previous statement.
Exactly.
Be patient.
Be patient.
Yeah.
Just so quick, just before we've actually got through this pretty quickly, man. This might be the shortest podcast ever, Scott.
Do you know one comment on that? I was actually genuinely surprised by a lot of people that messaged me and said, because it said, one, they said, "Where's the podcast?" I said, "I actually haven't spoken to Neil. I'll see where he's at and see if we can meet up to have do another session."
Yeah.
And then I said, if you got any feedback, I'd be interested to see what you say. They said, "Don't shorten it."
Yeah.
So you sure?
Yeah.
So I was always toying with the idea of telling Neil we should try and keep it to like 15, 30 minutes. He says, "Nope." And I've had that from 20 people now.
Yeah, me too.
Which is not a huge amount by any means, but I mean, it's still a number to turn around and say every one of them said, "Actually, I like it long. I leave it running when I'm doing a long journey or while I'm working in the background." So, hey, maybe we're onto something.
I think 90 minutes is kind of the good target time. We are going to do a Pinfest special of the week of Pinfest. Just to cover what's going on and who's what, and I might unveil my special T-shirts. But look, we're excited about that. UK Open tickets are on sale. Please buy one. Actually, there's only 20 left, I think. We're almost sold out, which I'm kind of pleased about. But there's still tickets to be sold for UK Pinfest. So if you're going, get your ticket, sign up for the comps, do what you need to do. Also, keep an eye out on the Pinball Republic website for our big reopening. And I'm trying to think what else to cover. I think that's it from my
I think that's it.
There's not a lot. It's been a quiet month. Pinball.
It hasn't. I think that obviously that what's happening with Haggis is sad.
Yeah.
And obviously what Stern is doing is nothing new. I think what I would like to see from Jersey Jack is probably... Well, I want to see Harry Potter, and I'm hoping it's Harry Potter. I'm not. I don't know if I'm excited about the theme, but I'm excited to see what they're going to do with it if they have got it, which it seems they have.
I think I just wouldn't be one. I just wouldn't want to be the person that's working on it, because everyone's mental model of... I've said this before. Everyone's mental model of what they want in Harry Potter: 7 books. And if Keith...
play it safe and just base it on the movies, because they've got all the movie assets anyway. Right?
Yeah, no, I mean, 7 movies then, or whatever. However, in fact, it's 8, isn't it? Because it's a part 1, part 2. But I've barely seen any of the movies. I'm not a fan of Harry Potter. I thought it was a lot of...
Oh, you're not?
No, there was no fucking spacemen or ninjas in it, so it was like it was dead to me. You've got to have spacemen, ninjas. For sure.
Spacemen and ninjas. I'm trying to think of like what theme actually has spacemen ninjas in it.
No, you don't have to have both. You have to have one or the other.
No, I'm just saying it would be an interesting mix.
It's like
if someone had that.
Mandy says, "I want to go see this movie." I was like, "Mandy, there's no spacemen and there's no ninjas in it. I can't."
I'll tell you off topic. I did watch one film that was quite disappointing, despite rave reviews. Furiosa.
No, I knew that would be shit. It had shit all over it. Basically.
Yeah, it starts off good enough. 20 minutes in, 30 minutes in, then it completely just goes. You're like, you get halfway through the film, you're like, you're looking at your watch. You're like, is it over yet? It's weird, because I think the Fury Road is so good.
So
I love Fury Road.
I saw a great movie. Ever since I turned to 30, my brain's been like cheese. Let me just find the name of it. It's a sci-fi where aliens invade. It's called The Quiet Place Day One, right?
Oh, Quiet Place, right? Yeah. I love that.
So I haven't seen the original. There's 2 movies before this.
That's right. Quiet Place and Quiet Place Part 2.
Yeah, apparently Part 2 is terrible, but Quiet Place Day One. This is a prequel. I have to say that movie blew my mind away. That was such a great film.
Don't spoil it for me, because I'm going to watch that.
Won't. But I would definitely recommend that. Don't bother going to see Fly Me to the Moon. It's a load of old shit. And yeah, Furiosa, I kind of knew that would be Doomsday. Unfortunately,
it's a shame, because I hope it doesn't affect their chances of doing a Mad Max film in the future. But it's weird because they say it's a Mad Max saga. I can say it quite safely without giving too many spoilers. He shows up in it for about 5 seconds, and he's just standing on a cliffside looking down. That's it.
Yeah.
That's his inclusion in the film. It is all about the character Furiosa, which is fine. But it's so slow, and it's really a story that didn't need to be told, if I'm honest with you. That's the bottom line of it.
So, I mean, I'm kind of looking forward to Deadpool and Wolverine and Twister.
Yes. Yes. Oh, not Twister, really? Because I like the original film, but it's just a reboot, right?
There's no ninjas and spacemen in that, so
no.
I'm going to that. Mandy wants to see that. She liked the original one.
Did you ever like the Twister's pinball machine? Sega made it, right?
Okay. The Twister pinball machine. It's okay. It's not. Again, it was made in the dark days of pinball. It's not the worst game. It was actually in the Indisc Tournament Bank a couple of years ago, and I enjoy playing. It's not a super tough game, but it's fun. I kind of like.
Isn't that where Turtles got its idea for the spinning disc, right?
Yeah. There's got a spinning disc in it, and there's a bunch of other stuff in it that's quite cool. I kind of liked it. But anyway, look, this is it's been great to catch up. I hope everyone's enjoying pinball. This weekend there's I think it's this weekend or maybe next weekend there's Pinburg. I was supposed to be going, but because of work I can't make it, unfortunately. And then there's obviously all the leagues are coming to an end, and actually congrats to Di, who's taken over the Southeast League, which is going to be great. So because it hasn't been great for a while, looking forward to that. I'm going to host around here at the old Domino Arcade. And I think that's it from me. And actually, one other small thing. For those of you that remake WPC games, Pinball Life have got some really unobtainable parts on lights that have been unobtainable for a while. They're in, especially the ones that go on the kind of back box wood bit.
They're now
in stock. And also those with Stern games, check your mounting brackets, because Stern were using these really crap screws in the past, and you want to change to the WPC ones because they will
snap.
They'll snap, basically. Yeah. So I've been changing them all out in the games here.
Sounds like they're coil stops.
Well, yeah. I mean,
has that stopped being a problem now? By the way.
Well, I think since they replaced the bushing, I think they're less of an issue. I certainly haven't had to swap any, so
you're not seeing any brass filings showing up, is what I'm saying.
Well, actually, I did forget one thing. My Meteor came back from refurbishment, so it got a new playfield and Keith did it, and I haven't played it yet because it's in my garage. But it looks glorious. Can't wait to get out. Anyway, look,
great.
This was Scott and Neil. Watch out for our Pin Fest special. We'll probably release it the Monday or Tuesday ahead of Pin Fest, and we'll see you there. And enjoy the summer and probably a quieter time for pinball over the next few weeks. But watch out for what's going on in Pinball Republic. And everyone who's running events or running pinball places or doing stuff, thanks a lot. It's appreciated. But always, I could end with a song, which is always look on the brighter side of life. And with that,
fair enough. Yeah.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
See you soon.